to point out a couple of places in my life where AI has been fun recently. As a paying subscriber on Twitter, for some reason, I quite like Grok. And I'm like, maybe they're not completely bastardizing my information as a paid subscriber. I don't know. But I've started using it a lot in replacement of what would have been a Google search. And it's really interesting because obviously it's turning the search business upside down. But some examples being my wife and I are traveling, and to your point, like we're chucking in like, what's the best place to go at this time of year? Okay, we've got 3 young kids. Okay, we'd like an organic grocer. Okay, and it's like, poof, 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 poof. And then it remembers what you've asked it, which is just, mind-blowingly good compared to what would be a travel agent. You've got to trust their specific experience, or equally, the trawling through websites in the past that you might have done. And the second area I wanted to mention is actually as an investor. One very specific example I used recently was I said to Grok, what is the opportunity cost of owning a family home in Australia over the next 5 years versus owning Bitcoin? And what came out was one of the most sophisticated and direct financial reports I've ever seen in my life that would have taken an insane amount of time to do properly. And it was like, here's the average house price. You could go in and pay full cash for an 800 grand house. And actually, that means that, you might get this return and you get about 150 grand uptick over a 5-year period. Looking online, I can see that Kathy Wood's ARK fund is aiming for $1 million Bitcoin on 2030. That might be the bull case. We'll take this other statistic here, which is like a bear case, and we'll middle it out. Your return, if you put 800 grand into Bitcoin, is going to be X. What you might want to do is a hybrid approach where you take debt, you go to 20% down deposit on a house, and then you put the rest into Bitcoin. And you're like, oh my God, that's the best investment plan I've seen in ages. And it's come out of an AI.
I can actually, so I did a similar analysis while my brother was visiting Bali. I'm in Bali at the moment. I was thinking, how can I get more Bitcoin, right? So in order to get more Bitcoin, you must provide more value and get paid for it, right? So my experience as an estate agent in London, I was there for 6 years.
Oh, that's right.
That's
I
why.
remember now.
Right. And I was doing Airbnb business as well on the side. So we did it very successfully. And I thought, hey, I should do this in Bali as well. There's a landlady who has a brand new villa, and my brother, we were sitting on a roof and saying, hey, we should take this villa and we should just make some active income, right? And then I say, will it make more than 45% IRR, or return on investment, per year? Then will it make more than 45%? Because that's what Bitcoin makes on average in the last 16 years. And in the run club, I speak to my friend, another friend, and they say that if you reach 15% return on investment in Bali per year, you're doing pretty good. If it's 20%, it's quite exceptional. All the costs and money up front and all of this. And I did an analysis with ChatGPT at that time, a couple of months ago. And it's basically 20 pages in, opportunity cost, as you mentioned, right? It's just simply better off to just hold Bitcoin. As simple as that. But then my brother says, wait a minute, but you must do something, right? Well, yes, sometimes sitting on your hands and doing nothing is actually the most difficult job you have to do, right? Because that opportunity cost. So yes, we need to provide value. This is what we do with Code Orange Developer School, to provide value, educate, and tell the secret, because we know the secret, right? So we want to tell everybody the secret. And also vibe coding, reading clubs and all the in-person workshops that we do at the Bitcoin House Bali and elsewhere. So yes, opportunity cost is big. Another example is my girlfriend. She bought a piece of land for $10,000 2.5 years ago, and now for the same amount of money, she could buy 4 lands. So she could be 4 times larger land. Same happened with my scooter as well. I bought a scooter a year and a half ago, and it dropped in price by 75%. So now I can have almost 3 scooters. And so same as when my brother, we're sitting on the roof and it says, hey, we should buy a piece of land. Why don't you own a villa here in Bali? It's because why would I own a villa if I know it's falling in price? So yeah, 2 years down the line, it will be cheaper. I remember you were actually also considering or looking around when we met in 2023 at the Bitcoin conference. I believe you were looking around or just toying with an idea as an investor. Hey, what's it like to be living in Bali or investing in Bali?
Hmm.
So if anybody would have bought it 2 years ago, they would have lost money. So maybe it's a good thing you didn't buy.
Hmm.
So I just try to think in Bitcoin terms as much as I can, because
It's very,
that's the
very
reality.
powerful.
It
Yeah,
is,
that
yeah.
was great fun. No, thank you for having me. I was the MC of the first Bitcoin conference in Bali, the Indonesia Bitcoin conference, of which you were a co-organizer. Awesome to meet you there in person, and you guys put on a great experience, which tees me up nicely to ask about. Well, and I should caveat, I didn't buy a villa in Bali for lots of other reasons, most of which you've touched on, which is you're just better off owning Bitcoin.